Hi, and welcome to Steve's Heritage Kitchen. Today we're going to be making Texas hot links. This is a really good recipe. I really enjoyed making it and eating it. And so we're going to just move ahead. This one contains beer, so I have a little extra. So anyway, I have a lot of the stuff already prepped. I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so your first thing you want to make sure is that everything that you're going to do here is very cold. So this was actually in the freezer for a while, so it's a little crispy around the edges from being cold. And what we're going to do is I'm going to set this back in the freezer and I'll get it out in a second. Okay, so for this, we mixed up a spice rub, and I'm going to read it to you. So this bowl contains, so the recipe is for 7 pounds, and finished 5 pounds and 2 pounds. So I cut it in half because I don't need that much. I'm going to share it with some people. So this is for 3.5 pounds of meat, which is 2.5 pounds of Boston butt and 1 pound of beef. Now I've got ground beef here. Sometimes if I have a chuck roast or something, I'll grind it in with everything. So it's a half a bottle of beer, so it'll be 6 ounces of beer. And then I'm going to have to do this math as I go down the list here. 1 tablespoon of ground black pepper, coarse ground. 1 tablespoon of crushed red pepper flakes. This stuff has a kick to it. A tablespoon of Hungarian paprika. A half a tablespoon of cayenne pepper. A half a tablespoon of minced fresh garlic. A half a tablespoon of granulated garlic, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, a half a teaspoon of ground bay leaves. I just grind them in my spice grinder. Kind of got to guess how many it would take to make a half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon of whole anise seed, half a teaspoon of whole mustard seeds, a teaspoon of sugar, a half a teaspoon of whole mustard seeds, a half a teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of ground thyme, and 3 teaspoons of Morton Tenderquick, and also a half a teaspoon of MSG, which you can leave out and it doesn't make a whole lot of difference if you don't like MSG. So that's the spices that are in here. So then what you do is you mix the spices in to your beer. So this is 6 ounces of beer with all of those spices that I just said in there. So then what we're going to do is we're going to get the meat out. And we're going to pour this spice mixture right over the meat. I want to make sure I can get it all out of there. Alright, so we're going to just pour this in the bowl right over the meat. Alright. And then I want to get all those out of there. These are very handy to get all the stuff out of your bowls, which, if you're kind of a stickler like me, is very important. I want all those spices. Okay. So those are the spices. And then I'm going to mix this together with my hands, and then we're going to feed it through the grinder. I'm going to add the ground beef in here as I mix, and we'll just grind it all together. Okay. All right. Now, of course, as you grind it, it'll get mixed in as well, and we're going to mix it once it's ground. So we just kind of get it all coated so it can go through there along with the meat. Okay, so there's that. We get a bowl, and we're going to start grinding. All right, set our bowl right underneath here. I'm using a 10mm plate. Yeah, a 10mm plate, which is a good grind for sausage. Gives it a good mouthfeel. Still, it's fine enough to get the mixing going. So I'm going to pile a lot of this in here. Alright, now as usual, this is going to be a lot of noise. And I'll let you see this a little bit and then I'll move it on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I let it go until it stops coming out almost. Now I'm going to just melt some of this liquid in here. So I'm going to make sure that all of this, these spices, beer, and all the good stuff gets into this sausage. All right. I'm going to bring you a little closer so you can see me mix. Be right. Okay, so now the idea is to really mix this together, and if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that this is a very important part. The liquid that you mix in there, if you can get it to emulsify with your fat, you will have way juicier sausages. And this depends on your sausage meat being very cold and your fat being very cold, and you mixing it vigorously until you can feel it. You'll feel it start to congeal, you know, until it becomes like a mass. So you can see that it's like really holding together now. And I'm still going to continue to mix it. This stuff already smells good. So when we're done here, we're going to put this in the refrigerator, and it's pretty much kind of like kneading bread. You know, as you're watching your meat here, you'll be able to tell if there are any pockets of spice. If you see like a clump of your spices anywhere, then you know you need to keep mixing it until you get these all dispersed. But since our spice was mixed with the beer, it was kind of a liquid thing, so it's pretty well dispersed. And this is really hard to mess with. It's definitely done its thing. You can sort of see when you look that the fat is kind of a white color, and you can see that it's hanging together. So that's good for that. Okay, so like I said, we're going to put this in the refrigerator, and I'm going to get out the sausage stuffer. And I already have my casings soaking. I'm going to rinse these out. They're packed in salt, and as they rinse, and you put it in tepid water for about a half an hour, and as they soak, they get really pliable, and then you run some water through them, and then they're ready to put on the stuffer. Okay, so I'll clear all this stuff away and be right back. Okay, so we got our sausage grinder in place. Now our sausage stuffer in place, and got our sausage and our casing, which has been soaked for about a half an hour, and they come packed in salt, so I soak them for about a half an hour in tepid water. So we're going to thread this on here, and then we're going to put our meat in there. We're going to stuff. All right, so here we go. Finding the end is not always the easiest thing in the world, but I might have to resort to glasses, but no, we're good. Put this right over here. And I keep trying to make sure I guide it into the center, so I kind of pull back a little bit so that this is going on in the middle. Okay, so we're going to pull the end down over. Alright, so there's going to be a lot of drippage. Okay, so put this up here, and then I'm going to take this sausage, and I'm going to put it into this sausage stuff. There we go. You want to pack it in there pretty tight. You don't want any, you want to try to avoid any air pockets that might get into your sausage. You don't want air pockets. You can get what they call a sausage prick, and if you find any air pockets, if you just make a small, or you can just use a needle, sterilized needle. Just make a small hole, because these are going to be packed relatively tight. If you just make a small hole right over where you see the air pocket, it will go away. You'll let the air out and it will go away. So I'm gonna tie this off. Nope. First thing you want to do is to run your sausage to where you can just see it on the end here, because it's going to push out air, which is not what you want in your sausage. So as soon as you see it coming out the end of your tube, and there it is, you just stop. And then we're going to tie a knot in here. There we go. Run that up close. Now I'm going to bring you up closer so you can watch this closer. Okay. Okay, should be able to see this. Now I'm going to start cranking this out and making some sausage. It's going to be a little hard to see. I got to put my hands around here to kind of not let this come off too fast so that it feels nice and tight, and you'll just kind of feel it as it comes off the end here. You don't want it too tight because we're going to twist some links here, and you want a little extra. If it's too tight, you'll break it. You'll break the casing if you're trying to make links. Now we're going to just kind of guide this around in circles here. All right. Try to get it stuffed as evenly as possible. You don't want any. It's pretty forgiving though, but you don't want any thick areas and thin areas. And okay, there we are. So, last time I didn't quite leave enough here. We're going to leave plenty so I can tie a nice knot without going insane. Without going insane. So here we go. So, I have this to try to make sure that I got no air in there. And then we're going to tie a knot this end. And then try to run this up pretty close here. There. Now. Don't need a bunch of casing hanging off the end. Alright. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit so you can see, because we're going to make some links here. Now you don't have to make links. But a lot of people like them. I mean, you can just cut it wherever you want. So we're going to twist for some length. See? Figure about how long you want your sausage to be, and then you just do like that. And then the thing that's hard to remember is you're going to be twisting the other way on the next sausage. So you alternate twisting directions, like that. Alright, we're going to end up with a little snubby one, but that's okay. Or maybe we're going to end up with a big one. Okay, we're going to end up with a larger one on the end. We'll save that for a special occasion. Okay, now we're going to actually put these on a rack. And since these are going to be smoked, they have to sit, I've already said this, in a refrigerator overnight to dry. Because smoke doesn't stick very well to really wet, freshly made sausages. So there you have them. I'm going to stick these in the refrigerator overnight, and we'll come back and smoke them. And hopefully taste them. Hopefully they'll be really good. I think they will. I can sort of smell them from here. Okay, well, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so after sitting all for a day in the refrigerator, they dried out nicely. They also, it gives the chances for the spices and everything to blend into the sausage, so it's much nicer. So it's a good idea, even if you're not going to smoke them, to put them overnight in the refrigerator, uncovered. They don't need to be covered. They need to dry out a little bit, and then the skins will be better when you cook them. Okay, so I'm going to take you with me at least part of the way, and we're going to load these into the smoker. Okay, hang on to your hats. Okay, there we have it. In there, I'm going to close the door, set the temperature, and we'll come back and see how it's doing. Maybe take it out. Okay. Okay, so here we are at the smoker. We're going to open her up. I guess they're done. There we go. Yeah, that's looking good. And I know they're done because I took their temperature already. We got okay, there they are. We're going to pull them out now, take them inside, and maybe try one of them. Okay. Let's see if I can get these. Great. We need a table out here. Okay, here we go. I'll see you inside. Okay, here they are. Out of the smoker, ready to go. Going to cut one open and see what it's like. Well, they smell good. I think I'm going to choose the little stubby one. Here, see what we got. I'll bring you in closer. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see this. Juicy. That's what we want. Nice and juicy. Let's give it a try. Mm. Mm-mm. Okay, there you have it. Let's see this over here. It turned out really well. Delicious. Very juicy. Now these are like fully cooked to 155 degrees, 155, 60. So you need them like this, but they also retain, as you saw, enough of the juiciness that you can throw them on the grill and get them nice and crispy on the outside. No, let me taste it. Very good flavor. A little spicy, not too spicy. Yep, I would have to have one of these on a bun later on. Smokiness is great. So thank you for joining me. I hope you'll come back next time. Steve's here at Ditch Kitchen, and I'll see you soon. Bye.